Good frickin' morning. It's 5:30 a.m. or 5:40 if we round up. And I just have a little bit of an ice pack on my shoulder because my shoulder is feeling kind of sore. But today is chest day. However, I have a new shift now. I'm going to be working very early mornings into the afternoon. So, with this new schedule, I might be able to do better editing and things like that. Hopefully, knock on wood. I don't know if this counter is actually made from wood, but like I said, it's 5 in the morning. Going to be starting working a very early shift. Going to be on the bounce and moving. Today is chest day, so a lot of walking around in the morning. Still going to do that cardio though, because you can't skip cardio. You can't. You just can't skip cardio. Whether it's hard cardio day, soft cardio day, mid cardio day, you got to remember to do it. And no walking. I do not count walking around at work all day a part of cardio. It does get steps and it does burn calories, but I consider my cardio and the walking I do for work to be two separate things. Anyways, let me wrap this good morning video up. Gonna get to work my 8 hours, and then we are going to go to the gym and have a good time, man, because I know it's gonna be midday when I get to the gym, not just 5:30. I think it's gonna be a little bit more dead than normal. Anyways, guys, I'll catch you later.
So I hate alpha males. I mean, I straight up hate alpha males so much. Now, on principle, I don't hate the idea of a guy trying to be an inspiration to other men. That's not an issue, and sometimes it feels like some men might genuinely need that. But there's, you know what I mean when I say alpha male. The dudes that take advantage of that, selling fake courses to get people rich or becoming personal trainers or things like that. Keep in mind, I have never once spent money on any of these courses. And who knows, maybe they will make me millions of dollars, but I have not seen one person online come back and say, hey, I took blankety blank's course and now I am just as loaded as they are. I haven't seen that once. So I'm trying to figure out where the heck are any of these quote unquote alpha males getting any of their money? Do they have a job? I mean, there's nothing BS about having a job. So if they have a job that's actually giving them some darned money, then that's a good thing. But what's the course for then? Like, what's their 9 to 5? Is it that much social media clout? Because anytime I see these guys, it's always negative. And I saw this one video today, and this is where it straight up crossed the line for me. And it was these alpha male boot camps. And in theory, this doesn't seem like that bad of an idea. You get a weekend, you get a bunch of guys together, and you do like this fake boot camp thing where everyone gets to pretend to be tough. And, in the end, that could be fun in theory if it was affordable. But of course it isn't. The darned thing cost $18,000. I am sorry, but if you can afford an $18,000 trip to have some dude to pretend to be a drill sergeant at you, then you do not need that thing because you're clearly well off. And if you made a really bad financial decision, then I'm sorry, but you deserve to lose that money. Join a martial arts gym. Join the gym. Make some friends. You do not need some guy pretending to be the military yelling at you. And yes, I get some of them are actually veterans, but you don't need these guys that aren't going to give you that actual military honor. It's just a ripoff.
And I am home from the gym, and today is actually National Chicken Wing Day. And you know what? I actually went to American Chicken Bunker.
It's a good fucking food.
Now, I didn't get any true chicken wings. I got the glorified chicken nuggets, but they're still really good. They're actually the honey hot flavor, which I wish it was more of a sauce because, you like getting that little bit of a mess, am I right?
We produce only high quality chicken flavored foodstuffs.
There's something to that makes it more but it still tastes pretty good. I already cheated and ate a little bit.
Piece of shit.
I know I don't like doing these types of cheat meals, but for National Chicken Wing Day. I think it's okay to cheat a little bit just this once, have a little bit of American chicken bunker, and have a good time.
Is the pump.
Anyways, I'm gonna chow this down. Probably watch some Asmongold, or maybe some New York apartment tours. That's a weird guilty pleasure of mine. Watching apartments that I cannot afford, even the really cheap ones. But anyway, let me eat this, and I'll catch you guys later tonight for my end of day thoughts. Peace. It's the end of the day. Sun's still a little bit out, a little bit, but it's the end of the day for me. And I wanted to talk about my unpopular opinion when it comes to video games, in that I am not that big of a fan of the Soulsborne, Souls-like genre of games. And here's the thing, you can't tell me I haven't tried a fair amount. I've been trying since Demon Souls, and I genuinely thought at first that I was going to absolutely adore these types of games. Old school difficulty, grinding it out, learning the gameplay, but it never failed. It never failed. I would always get stuck on one part, and I just say, you know what? I've had enough. And it happens every single time.
Piece of shit.
For this one's the spider boss. For this, I think I just got bored. On Bloodborne, it was that one boss where if you get too close to it, it starts poisoning you. That one was irritating. I can't remember why I stopped playing Neo 1. I don't know, I just kind of stopped playing it. I'm still playing through Stellar Blade, by the way. And Neo 2 was that boss that can do those fire tornadoes, which felt more cheap than fair. And this isn't a Soulsborne game, but it's made by FromSoft. And I'm actually playing through this one, and I like it a lot, even though it does have a lot of weird difficulty spikes in it. More so, I don't know how to manage my ammo in that game at all. But, like I said, it's because my one friend, he wants me to really play Elden Ring. He just keeps saying, you gotta try Elden Ring, that's the one you're gonna like. And it's like, dude, I tried. Stellar Blade I'm gonna play through, though. Stellar Blade is more of a Souls light than a Souls like, which is a weird sentence. And I don't even think it's necessarily that I think the games are too difficult. I think I'm just sick of so many action RPGs emulating the Souls formula as opposed to trying to be a different style of gameplay. I mean, here's the thing, it's not a bad thing, but a lot of them feel more like rip-offs as opposed to their own identity. Some of these, like Neo and Stellar Blade, obviously they have their own identity. The reason I like Stellar Blade so much is because I like that's kind of like this post-apocalyptic Lovecraftian style world, like those abominations. The same thing with Bloodborne. I liked that overall. Like I said, once I got to that boss, I was like, I don't have the patience to figure this out. And that's the thing, is like these games require a lot of patience, and I just don't have it. I really don't. I with something like Clair Obscur, a lot of people know it's like, oh, you have to learn the bosses and enemies like that. But I don't know why that one grips me more. Maybe it's because in that game the story actually takes have high importance, whereas with a lot of these games the story is more in the background, and that's fine because they're supposed to be more, Lovecraftian in that way. All of them, or maybe not all of them, but with most Soulsborns, the story is more told behind the scenes as opposed to being right in front of your face, which is fine because it gives you something to think about. But with something like Clair Obscur, I'm curious of like, okay, I know I need to beat this boss because I know what's coming next is an important plot point that I'm going to have to try and figure out. And with Souls, a lot of Souls games, it's like you have to figure out the plot for yourself, which I said is fine, but I just don't have the patience to figure out
the minute pattern of defeating an overly hard boss. That's just me. Yeah, like everyone's gonna say, get good, and I'm just not good. But outside of that, so many action RPGs, like that one game, Fallen Feathers, that just came out. I remember looking at it, I was like, it was only $50 on Amazon. I was like, let me look up more about this. And it said action RPG, and it said, oh, that's cool, but let me guess, it's gonna be a Souls-like. And I was like, Souls-like and Metroidvanias are the two styles of game that everyone seems to just want to kind of replicate. And that's what I mean. It feels like they're just copying and not innovating. Because with action RPGs, there's so many options you can do. Like, think about this. There's the Souls-like games, which have their own place. I'm not against them. I'm just not that big of a fan of them. But there's also, there's Kingdoms of Amalur, which is like God of War as an action RPG. There's Kingdom Hearts. There's Nier. There's Final Fantasy 15 and 16. Like Monster Hunter, Dragon's Dogma. Monster Hunter is more of a straight action game, and Monster Hunter is another thing where it's like there's Monster Hunter clones, but hardly any of them identify themselves as their own thing. They more feel like they're just trying to be copies as opposed to doing it their own way. But that's kind of, I guess it is kind of hard when you're just trying to replicate a gameplay style, but I don't know. Anyway, it's like there's so many other subgenres of action RPG, or sub-styles, I should say, that every time I look at an action RPG, I think, is it going to be just another Souls-like? And odds are it is. I mean, look at this stack here. I mean, obviously with the exception of Armored Core. But it's just like there's other combat styles, like the Devil May Cry style. And obviously I don't want every action RPG to just be replicating Devil May Cry at that point, but to just be like, oh, it's a new Soulsborne. Oh, it's a new Soulsborne. Oh, it's a new Soulsborne. And I know why, because it has a huge fan base. To a lot of people, this is the Poultrygeist of gaming. But to me, it's just not. And I hate to be that guy who doesn't love it as much as everyone else does. Maybe I need to sink more time into it. And I tried to play Demon's Souls again recently, the original one. And again, like I said, I was on that spider boss. I even looked up guides for it, and I'm just like, I genuinely can't figure this out. I'm just not good at this style of game. And that's okay. Not all these games are made for everyone. I mean, there's also Sekiro Shadows Die Twice, which is a Souls game without the RPG elements. And there's also another one called Bound by Flame. Not Bound by Flame. That's an entirely different game. It came out this year. It's like a Soulsborne game, but instead you're building weapons and things like that. Because Bound by Flame was a game from like 2012, and it was by the Spider, the Greedfall people. Great game, by the way. Greedfall. Bound by Flame is kind of just okay. It's very janky, very much needed a lot more time in the oven, but I played it and it was fine. But I tried. I literally did. I literally tried to enjoy this gameplay style, and I just can't. I've tried desperately over and over and over again to like this gameplay style. Stellar Blade being the lone exception, given that it's Stellar Blade, and that's its own separate thing. Like I said, it's more of a Souls light than a Souls like. But I've tried. I really did. And I also have the first Dark Souls, but I couldn't find my copy of it. And I want to, especially want to love Bulletborne. This one might be the one I might go back into, because I love the atmosphere. I love how it is more straight up like a horror game that you're supposed to be more combative in. That one I might give another chance. But like I said, this is like my unpopular gaming opinion, where no matter how hard, no matter how much time I dedicate to it, I'm just never good at Dark Souls-like games. And seeing how many games just kind of rip off that gameplay style. Like I said, that Falling Feathers game. There's another game called Dolmen that came out a while ago. Sekiro, even though that was made by From Software as well. The Neo games, which the Neo games are one of the few that are actually like solid adaptations, and even that game, Rise of the Ronin. But the reason a while ago I said that was the game I've been wanting to play for a long time, and it's because that is at least a more open samurai-inspired action RPG with combat that's more similar to, but not exactly like Soulsborne. The gameplay actually looked more similar to Breath of the Wild from what I saw. I could be completely wrong, but and Breath of the Wild is another one of those games I wish I liked more than I do. Seriously, like, I have a lot of unpopular gaming opinions. I mean, not a lot, but those are like my two, I think, what most people would call unpopular opinions, is not loving the Souls-like genre and not loving Breath of the Wild. And I wish I did. I really do. Anyways, guys, I gotta call it a night. I'm gonna play more Clair Obscur before I go to bed, especially since I have to start going to bed earlier now, given that my schedule is now be up at 5 in the morning. Anyways, I'll give a few more of these games a try. I will, I promise. When I'm done with Clair Obscur and when I'm done with Precinct and maybe another lighter game, I'll either install Bloodborne or Dark Souls 3 onto my PS5. I would say I'd play my PS4. My PS4 genuinely doesn't work anymore, and I'll do my best. I will, and I'll make an updated videos going, you know what? I was wrong. I mean, people already think I'm wrong anyway, or more so, I was wrong about my opinion in the moment. I actually really do like this genre now. I just had to figure it out, because who knows? And then maybe I'll actually try Elden Ring. Anyways, guys, I gotta call tonight. I'll catch you guys later.